After that epic first panel, now we've got a really interesting, fantastic fireside chat with the awesome Stewart Kyasimire. Yeah, got it right. Thank you. We're going to be discussing reframing the conversation to create anything. So, first of all, Stewart, let's talk about what Create Everything is about. You're the man behind this, so tell us what Create Everything is and why you made it and what its goals are.
Okay, so Create Anything is a production company. It's been running for the last 3 years. I am the director and MD. I started off in design. I started off making films for banks and Nike and Puma and BT, BBC, and I was always a filmmaker. I was interested in camera work, and then I wanted to, as a filmmaker, you want to tell stories. So I wanted to tell a story about being black in Scotland. So I released a documentary called Black and Scottish on the BBC, but before that I made a little piece, and it was centered around my daughter, Yasmin. Yeah. So I made a little piece and took it to the BBC, fortunate enough, and then they commissioned it. So we'll talk about that later. And then I started a company called Reframe.
Perfect. Cool. And then, so what have you achieved so far with Create Everything?
With Create Anything, I've been very lucky. I was nominated for 2 BAFTAs. Thank you. So that was Best Director, and that was Best Director for Factual, and that documentary as well, Black and Scottish, did really well. It was released in 2019 October. The BAFTA came the following year, but then post Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, it picked up again. It was played. It was millions of views, and since then everything's just went up from there. I'm now working with Amazon. I'm now directing the Amazon Prime's Anansi Boys, written by Neil Gaiman. Directing the behind the scenes and also the electronic press kit. And then from there, from interviewing cast and crew, they then seen my work and they've offered me a half-an-hour documentary for Amazon. So the company's been running for 3 years, and now we're already creating content for Amazon, and then creating content for BBC and Channel 4, and so we've been very busy. I actually met Nikki, who worked on the Amazon set with me as well for the EPK. So there's been a lot more than that, but I'm trying to think off the top of the head here. No, really I'm also an activist. I was the top 30 black people in the UK, making history, Black History Now. That was through the BBC, and I couldn't believe it when I'd seen that Lewis Hamilton was on there, and Stormzy was on there, and Olympians, and so I've done a lot. I'm kind of fighting for diversity, fighting for black people, because as you can see, there's hardly any black people even in here. So yeah, that's what we're.
And where do you want to take the company? What do you want? What's the future for it?
Well, with Create Anything, we're filming some drama now. We're making the content for Amazon. We just got a new studio in at the Hub, just beside BBC Pacific Quay. And I don't know. Look, if I'm going to be honest with you, there's, in the sense of diverse stories, there's hardly any diverse stories, okay? So there's plenty of Downtown Abbeys, there's plenty of white content out there. We're talking about colour palettes, we're talking about, catering to content for the black industry as well. You guys are losing out on a black community, yet black culture is so prominent in the white community. Yeah. If you listen to music, if you look at fashion, it's so prominent there. So I feel like, white people are more than happy to take what they want from that culture. But then when it comes to cultural appropriation, when it comes to the things like Black Lives Matter, you tend to see a lot of white people back off because it's too much for them, yet we're the ones that need to live it.
Yeah.
So I'm all about telling Black's positive stories. So Black and Scottish was a positive story about, you know, we had Ncuti Gatwa from Six Education, we had Juni Hansen, we had Sir Jeff Palmer, you know, we had some amazing people on that and documentary, and now that documentary is now in the Scottish school curriculum. So every kid in Scotland is going to be watching me and my daughter and all these other people in this. So I'm trying my best to, you know, make a difference and make sure that I don't have a diversity chat at all because I am diverse, you know. And when I am looking to crew up, it's very easy for me to crew up and find people of colour. And I know that your next question is going to touch on that.
Yes, yeah. Talking of crewing up, you've also created a talent agency, a BAME-led and BAME-focused talent agency, Reframe. So tell us about what it's about, why you felt the need to start it, and how it's going.
So with Reframe, it's basically as simple as this. It's you know, we're making Black and Scottish. The funny thing is that I was the only Black person in the crew. You know, it was with a production company, Turn Television, and I was the only one. And I remember speaking to the head of Turn Television, and I was saying, look, we need more diversity. You know, we need more Black people. And he's like, yeah, so what can you do for us, Stewart? Do you think you can help us get talent? And I'm looking at this guy and going, well, you've been in the industry for X amount of years. You know more people than me. This is my first television broadcast. And then I'd kept hearing, I was going to events and people were saying, oh, white people were saying we're finding it very difficult to crew up, you know, it takes time, etc. It takes time. And I was thinking about it and going, well, why was it that the night Black and Scottish went out, my phone, my, you know, Instagram, Twitter, etc., with so many Black people, you know, diverse people saying, oh my God, it's so good to see you, you're doing this, how do I get into the industry, it's amazing, and then the next day it just kept going and going. And then I put out a call out for this Amazon production, and then within 2 days we had 550 CVs. We had to stop because there was just too many. But it's basically people saying, I needed to see someone like you before I could see myself doing something similar. Yeah. And that's what the problem is. Mm-hmm. That's what the problem is. I don't know who it was, the woman at the end, I can't remember, Julie, I think it was. And she was saying how she's seen a camera op, and it was an instant beeline for that camera op. It's the same with Black people. It's the same with Black people. As soon as we see someone like us, you know, we're the minority, so we're going for a beeline. So from listening to you, there's so many similarities in the sense of a lack of confidence. A lot of people aren't that confident. I'm very lucky because, you know, I was quite, my mum asked me what I wanted to be when I was older, and I said I wanted to be an artist, and then she said to me, tell me one Black person that's in the art industry, and I couldn't think about that. I couldn't think of someone at the time. That was many years ago, and it made me realize that even then my mum was looking for someone that looked like her or like me before. So what happened next was I just decided, you know what, look, this is so easy for me to you know, I hear all of these chats about diversity and within these white companies, but I'm thinking it's not that easy, it's not that difficult for me. It's not difficult for me at all, because they see me up here doing this. I've done panels for Police Scotland, for Netflix, for Amazon, you know, for talks around schools and it's at universities. It's something that I constantly do because there's not many people doing it. In the sense of Black women as well, it's like there's hardly any, you know. So when I listened to all of this chat, I said to myself, right, I need to start this talent pool. And the talent pool was basically just, here's a database of individuals. If you need them, then there you go. And then I realized that I'm just giving this talent away for nothing. And also I found that talent was going out in productions, and I'm finding out that let's say they're working on a Beech Grove garden, and I'm finding out that they're one of the runners that's actually digging, working in the garden, because they've got like silly things like that, or people who are on the Amazon set and they're trainees, and you know, I keep going up to production and seeing these black people just dotted about, and why are they not with the crew? And it's like, you're standing there all day because you have to keep that section quiet, and you're going, these people aren't learning anything.
Yeah.
So I decided that I'll put together Reframe and make it a subscription service, so any company who's looking for talent will find the talent for you, we'll make sure that they're available, but you need to pay X amount of money to do that. And it's not like I'm doing it to make a profit or make money, but at the same time, it's up to me to make sure that I provide the right talent for that specific role.
Yes.
Yeah.
And paying for it makes people value it as well.
Yeah,
So.
it makes people value it. So I'm very lucky, because then Steve Carson from the BBC saying he would back it. Channel 4 want to back it. Banijay, which is huge, I want to back it as well. Amazon, Netflix, they've all. Honestly, I'm so overwhelmed. It's unbelievable. It's like, I just wanted to make films and dramas, and now I'm doing panels and talks, and I've got these companies all saying, when's Reframe going to launch? I've not actually launched it yet officially. However, what I can say is that so far over the last 6 months, I've had about 20 people of colour on productions, about 12 of them on Amazon, and it's equated to about 300K between them over the last 6 months. That's how much this company's helped.
Yeah.
So we've already started, you know, and once the company does launch, I know that it's going to do extremely well, because my talent pool isn't just based. There's only about 70 or so in Scotland. The rest are all down south.
Right.
And that's when I knew that I was onto something, because what happened was we put the call out on it was a certain Facebook group, just a black community Facebook group. And then what happened was I looked, and it was on Twitter, and then it was on Instagram, and then it was on WhatsApp, and then it got sent to me to say, hey Stuart, this is something you'd be interested in. And it was my post. And that's when I knew that I was onto something, because I was like, oh my God, it's on Twitter. I only was looking for like 10 people, and now there's 550. My business partner at the time, Donald's like, there's more coming in, bro. What are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. We'll just shut it down. You know, shut it down. You know. So it is there. Look, the talent is there.
Yeah.
It's not as confident. I'm quite resilient. You know, I said to my mum, no, I want to be an artist, and that's what I went ahead and done. She wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's not going to happen. So we need more people that are resilient and tough and more confident. But to do that, you need to instill confidence in them, and to do that, you need to have people that look like them. Now, I'm not going out and saying get yourself a token black man or black woman. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is, if you start to hire more people of colour, those people will then rise up in the industry and will then be a representative.
Yeah.
You know, because in Scotland, I feel like it's myself and another woman, Jean Johansson, who's a television presenter, Place in the Sun, and Celebrity MasterChef, etc. They come to myself or Jean, and Jean is my cousin, so it's in the family. So it's like, come on, you guys can do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, try
but
harder.
yeah.
Cool. And then a couple of big questions for you. So, why is it crucial to give people of colour more representation behind the scenes? We're talking about sports broadcasting. Of course, this goes much wider than that. In sports broadcasting, there really isn't a lot of colour, but
More representation behind the screen.
why is it important?
Why is it important? It's a funny question, because firstly, it's a question that shouldn't even be asked, if you know what I mean by that. Everyone's equal, everyone is the same. You know, especially in London, for example, you know, you go on a London bus or London Underground, there's people of colour, it's so diverse, it's so rich,
Yeah.
right? And then you get out and go into these offices and it's predominantly white, and it's when I hear black people telling me that they want to get into the industry, or they want to start telling stories, the passion that comes from them is unbelievable. I had people in tears telling me, I'm trying so hard and I've got this amazing story. I get scripts sent to me, and I'm listening to them, and they're beautiful stories, and I feel so lucky that I'm hearing this, and I'm going, you guys are all missing out on this talent. It's important because, you know, you don't want everything to be My partner's white. Before I start saying you don't want everything to be white, my partner's white. My kids are mixed race. I've got three girls and a boy, and you know, I've got camera equipment at home, and my 6-year-old has the headphones on behind the film camera. My little 3-year-old's at the front performing, and my 11-year-old Yasmin is doing sound, you know, and my son, he's now working with me in film and television, so I could see them growing up in the industry. They come, you know, they want to be in YouTube and have their own YouTube channel. So as soon as I have taken a picture, all three of them are like, "Hey guys, hi, we're." It's just natural for them, and it's starting off at a very, very young age. But those three mixed race girls with, you know, intelligent young girls that are ready to tell stories, these are the kind of kids that you want to bring up into the industry. Because if not, then instead of it being those 3 mixed race girls, it's going to be 3 white males, and then nothing's really going to change. So that's why it's important.
Yes, yeah. Get out the sound chamber, reflecting yourself. And then finally, why should broadcasters and production companies care about the diversity of their workforce? What's the final big word?
Care about the diversity of their workforce. It's another. I think it's a good question, actually, because it's very hard for me to answer, because as I said, you naturally should care, but why should production companies care? Because this is one thing that's happening. Television predominantly, you know, I've been creating some content where it's a bridge between online and linear, because I'm noticing that I was speaking to a friend earlier, and we were saying there's a guy called MKBHD. He's got millions and millions of followers, right? He's got a huge production company, and it's all online. So if he asks people, would you want to go and work with MKBHD and his production and all the cool content that he's making, or do you want to go and work for, let's say, the BBC, let's say? Sorry out there, but not say the BBC. They'll go to MKBHD because it's exciting productions. When's the last time any one of you sat down and went, right, and started channel hopping, BBC One, BBC Two, BBC 3, Channel 5, and just doing that? You know, years ago, people did that. Now it's this. Now it's mobiles. Yeah. What's happening now is these streaming services are creating content, and they know it's going to a mobile phone, or they know it's going to, and they're finding that it's going less and less to smart televisions. So what I'm basically saying is, you know, what I had done with a documentary that's coming out, Black and Northern Irish. And with that, I said, right, okay, I could put it on BBC Pitch. I decided I wasn't going to do that. I thought, you know what, instead of going through BBC Pitch, I'm going to see what the audience say about it. I put it out there, and that trailer gained about 3 million views. The Prime Minister of Northern Ireland, there was celebrities, there was so many people on St. Patrick's Day. This big event in Black and Northern Irish was featured on that, and it was streamed into the White House, and the NI Bureau contacted us. That would never have happened if I put it on BBC Pitch, and let's say they didn't commission it, and it would just live there on BBC Pitch. Yeah. So what I'm basically saying is, for me personally, I don't think I'll be pitching to networks next year or the following year. As I said, I'm currently working with Amazon. I've luckily got connections with Netflix, and so for me it's a case of, the reason why production companies should care is because a lot of the talent that they're hoping to get in the future are not looking to television, they're looking to online. I always say to networks, I say, like, my 6-year-old said to me, she said, "Dad, can we start a YouTube channel?" And she's like, I'm going to be really famous, and I'm going to have like 1 million followers." And I'm looking at her going, "You're only 6 years old. How do you know that?" But you can see that the stats, the analytics from a 6-year-old girl already is important. So if you go and speak to, if you try and get someone to production companies, try and recruit kids, or sorry, not kids, but young teens or people in early 20s trying to get in the industry. They don't provide any analytics. They can go and see a production, something on YouTube, for example, or whatever streaming service it is, and they can see 5,000 likes, 50,000 shares, 1.5 million views, and they can actually watch the analytics within television is behind. They don't show that. You know, it took me forever to find out how many people watch Black and Scottish or the other documentaries I made with them. But online, it's first and foremost how many views you have, how many, and then when you look at that, you then go, okay, this must be popular, right? So production companies maybe need to start, if QTV, for example, or the BBC or whoever's hiring, I would say start with the analytics. If you're going to the schools, why would I want to go and work with Channel 4 if I'll never know how many people have watched it? Whereas I can then go online and go, well, I want to aspire to having 10 million followers because I know. And you have to remember as well, like, let's say that's just there's YouTube Originals as well. I don't know if you guys know YouTube Originals. It's huge. But that's just going to grow and grow and grow. And that's not network. Yeah. So production companies need to realize that you'll soon lose the next generation, because the next generation is more interested in their phones, they're more interested in online, and I know every single one of us in here are always on we're on our phones, you know, we're watching content, we're watching media, where when these networks started creating content, they didn't think that the content would be viewed as much on phones. They didn't think that. Yes. And now they're realizing that people want to watch content anywhere. So I think that the broadcasters, the networks really need to be careful because they're losing them. And I'm personally one of them. I don't think I'm going to pitch to Channel 4 or BBC anymore. What I'll do is I'll create content, put it out there, see what the analytics tell me, and then if I do want it, like if it's a drama, for example, which we're currently planning on doing, if it's a drama, then I'll then go back to the BBC or Channel 4 and go, 3 million people love this, it's had X amount of this. It's impossible for you not to commission this. Yeah. And I think that's why production companies should care. Sorry if that was long-winded, but that's why they should care.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stewart. Does anyone have a question for Stewart? We have one over there. Luce, do you want to project?
I'll just project.
Yeah.
When are you planning to launch Reframe?
That's a good question as well. I would love to launch Reframe end of June. We finish on Amazon end of May. So once the end of May, then we'll start to look.
Are you able to join the subscription now, or does it need to wait for the...
No, you can join the subscription. Subscription now. It's just there won't be any online presence, but you know you'll get the talent that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's
you know.
What I mean. It's like, can I access that now?
Yes, most definitely you can. Yeah.
Just drop you. How do I do that?
Just drop me an email.
Just drop you an email.
You just made Luce's day. Does anybody else have a question for Stewart? I can't see anyone up there, so if anyone's waving, you have to shout. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much, Stewart. That was awesome. Best of luck with Reframing. Thank you.